Welcome, fearless viewers, to a journey through the unknown. Tonight, we're stepping off the beaten path and into the shadows. We'll explore a forest where even the bravest dare not tread, a haunting that defies explanation, and a winter expedition that ended in an unspeakable tragedy. Two of these stories are the stuff of nightmares, woven from the threads of imagination. But one is a real-life mystery that has puzzled experts for decades. Are you ready to separate fact from fiction? If so, hit that subscribe button and let's unravel these mysteries together. Now let's begin. Story 1. The Beast of Alberta. In the summer of 1996, a group of 5 friends in their 20s from Alberta, Canada, decided to embark on a week-long hiking trip to celebrate the end of their college semester. Emily, Jake, Sarah, Mark, and Tom had been planning this adventure for months. They were all experienced hikers and couldn't wait to explore the dense, untamed forests of the Canadian Rockies. When the group didn't return on the expected date, their parents weren't immediately concerned. They figured their kids were having such a great time that they decided to extend their trip by a few days. But when 3 more days passed without a word, worry set in. The families decided it was time to alert the authorities. A search party was quickly organized, consisting of local police, forest rangers, and volunteers. They scoured the woods, calling out the names of the missing hikers and looking for any signs of their campsite. 3 days into the search, they found it. The scene was gruesome. Tents were torn apart, and the bodies of Emily, Jake, Sarah, Mark, and Tom were scattered around the campsite. Nearby lay the mostly eaten carcass of a massive brown bear. Initially, it seemed like a tragic case of a bear attack, but upon closer examination, the crime scene investigators made a chilling discovery. The bite marks on the bodies and the bear were far too large to have been made by a brown bear. The size of the mouth that made these bites had to be at least twice as large. Blood samples were collected from the scene and sent to a lab for analysis. While the human and bear blood types were easily identified, there was a third type of blood that puzzled the scientists. After running numerous tests, they found that the unknown sample didn't match any known animal species. Strangely, it had characteristics closer to that of a primate, something akin to a monkey or an ape, creatures not native to the forests of Alberta. The town was in a state of shock. The forest, once a beloved spot for hikers and nature lovers, became a place of fear and mystery. Parents warned their children to stay away, and even experienced hikers avoided the area. As the years passed, the incident became the stuff of local legend, whispered around campfires and discussed in hushed tones at community gatherings. The authorities never released an official explanation, and the case files were eventually sealed. However, the story caught the attention of cryptozoologists and Bigfoot enthusiasts, many of whom believe that the mysterious blood sample and the unexplained deaths are definitive proof of the elusive creature's existence. To this day, the events that transpired during that fateful summer hiking trip in Alberta remain a chilling mystery, leaving many to wonder what truly roams the forests when no one is watching. Story 2. The Haunting of Battle Woods. Anna and Mike had always been avid hikers, but they had never ventured into Battle Woods before. The forest had a reputation, not just for its historical significance as a battleground between American colonists and Native Americans, but also for the eerie stories that had circulated for generations. They started their hike early in the morning, armed with backpacks filled with water, snacks, and first aid supplies. The forest welcomed them with towering trees, their leaves forming a canopy that filtered the sunlight into dappled patterns on the forest floor. Birds sang from hidden perches, and the air was tinged with the scent of pine and damp earth. As they walked deeper into the woods, the atmosphere seemed to change. The birdsong grew less frequent, and the wind carried a chill that made Anna shiver despite the warm day. They were about to discuss turning back when a scream shattered the forest's uneasy silence. "Should we go see what that was?" Anna asked, her eyes wide with concern. "We have to. What if someone's hurt?" Mike responded, already heading toward the source of the scream. They pushed through the underbrush, their hearts pounding. When they finally reached the clearing, they found a man lying on the ground, his face contorted in pain, an arrow sticking out from the back of his leg. "Please, you have to help me," the man begged. his eyes filled with terror. "I've been lost for days. I stumbled upon a camp, but the people there, they're not right. They've been hunting me like an animal." Just as Anna and Mike bent down to help the injured man to his feet, an arrow landed inches away from them, its point quivering in the soil. Their eyes widened in disbelief and fear. "Run!" the injured man gasped, his eyes filled with a terror that seemed to transcend his physical pain. Before they could fully process the situation, figures began to emerge from the surrounding trees. Men, women, and even children, their faces devoid of any emotion, their eyes empty as if devoid of souls. They wore tattered clothing that seemed to belong to another era, and their hands clutched primitive weapons, bows, arrows, and stone knives. The circle they formed around the injured man tightened, and the air grew thick with an energy that Anna and Mike couldn't comprehend. It was as if time itself had folded, and they were witnessing a ritualistic scene that had been enacted countless times over the centuries. The injured man let out a desperate, guttural cry for help, his voice tinged with a hopelessness that chilled Anna and Mike to their core. One of the villagers, a woman with long, matted hair, stepped forward and raised her arm as if signaling for silence. The injured man's cries ceased abruptly, replaced by a whimper that seemed to echo the collective sorrow of the ages. It was then that Anna and Mike felt a primal fear grip them, a fear so intense it seemed to freeze their very souls. Their instincts screamed at them to flee, to escape this nightmarish tableau before they too were consumed by it. Turning on their heels, they ran back toward the trail, their footsteps heavy, their breaths ragged. The injured man's final scream echoed behind them, abruptly cut off, leaving only the haunting silence of the woods. They didn't stop running until they reached the edge of the forest. Gasping for air, they immediately contacted the authorities. The police were skeptical, but agreed to investigate. They found no trace of the injured man, the villagers, or any camp. "We've had similar reports," said the officer, his face lined with concern. "People claim to be hunted, but we've never found any evidence. These woods have a dark history, and it seems they're not willing to let us forget it." Later, Anna and Mike researched the history of Battlewoods. They found accounts of mysterious disappearances, of people who claimed to have been hunted, only to vanish without a trace. Haunted by their experience, Anna and Mike couldn't shake the feeling that they had narrowly escaped becoming another unsolved mystery of Battlewoods. And so the forest's haunting legacy continued, its secrets guarded by the restless spirits that roamed its depths, ever watchful, ever waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to venture too close. Story 3: A Journey into the Unknown. In January 1959, 9 young and vibrant souls, led by Igor Dyatlov, set out on what was supposed to be a thrilling winter expedition. They were all students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, highly skilled in ski touring and mountaineering. Their destination was Otorten Mountain, a challenging peak in the northern Ural Mountains of Russia. Little did they know their journey would end in a chilling mystery that remains unsolved to this day. The group was well prepared, carrying enough rations and equipment to last them for the planned 2-week trek. They documented their journey meticulously through diaries and photographs, capturing the breathtaking beauty of the snow-covered landscape as well as their own high spirits. But as they ventured deeper into the wilderness, the weather took a turn for the worse. Snowstorms raged and visibility dropped to near zero. Realizing they had veered off course, Dyatlov made the decision to set up camp on the eastern slope of Kolatsiakal, a mountain ominously known to the indigenous Mansi people as the Mountain of the Dead. They pitched their tents and settled in for the night, unaware that it would be their last. Weeks later, when they failed to return, search parties were dispatched. What they discovered was a scene of utter perplexity. The hikers' tents were found slashed open from the inside, as if they had been desperately trying to escape from something or someone. Their belongings, including boots, maps, and food, were left behind in a chaotic sprawl. The bodies were found scattered across the snow, some as far as a mile from the campsite. The first 2 were discovered lying next to the remains of a small fire, dressed only in their underwear. 3 more were found in positions suggesting they were trying to return to the camp. But what puzzled the investigators was the state of the remaining 4 bodies. They were found in a ravine buried under 4 meters of snow and showed signs of inexplicable trauma. One had a fractured skull, 2 had severe chest fractures, and 1 woman was missing her tongue and eyes. Oddly enough, some of their clothing was found to contain levels of radiation. The official investigation concluded that they had died from hypothermia and a compelling natural force, but this explanation satisfies no one. Over the years, theories have ranged from the plausible, like avalanches and infrasound-induced panic, to the outlandish, including alien encounters and secret military tests. Yet none of these theories can fully explain the bizarre circumstances: the torn tents, the undressed bodies in freezing temperatures, the severe internal injuries without external marks, and the traces of radiation. Even more haunting are the reports from locals and subsequent visitors to the area. Many claim to have seen strange lights in the sky near Kolatsiakal, and others speak of a heavy, unsettling atmosphere, as if the mountain itself is warning them to stay away. This treacherous hike into woods remains a chilling mystery that has puzzled experts and intrigued enthusiasts for decades. Despite numerous investigations and countless theories, the unsettling circumstances surrounding the tragic end of 9 young hikers in the Ural Mountains continue to baffle us. The mountain seems to guard its secrets closely, leaving us to ponder what truly transpired on that fateful winter night in 1959. Thank you for sticking with us through these spine-chilling tales. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: which of these stories is rooted in reality? The answer is the harrowing journey into the Ural Mountains, known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. Yes, this bewildering event truly happened, and it remains one of the most puzzling mysteries to this day. Now here's something we didn't mention in the story. The last campsite of the Dyatlov group was actually discovered by another group of hikers about a week before the official search parties found it. They reported seeing the tents and footprints, but thought nothing of it at the time, assuming the group had moved on. It was only after the news broke about the missing hikers that they realized the significance of what they had seen. Additionally, the camera film recovered from the site was developed and showed the group in high spirits, completely unaware of the tragedy that would befall them. One of the last photos is particularly eerie. It's an unclear shot, possibly taken accidentally, that shows a mysterious glowing object in the sky. Some have speculated that it could be related to reports of strange lights seen in the area, but like everything else about this case, it's still a matter of conjecture. So there you have it. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains an unsolved mystery, a chilling testament to the unknown dangers that may lurk in the places we least expect. Did you guess right? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the unknown. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button and share it with fellow mystery seekers. And remember, in every trio of tales at 2 tricks, 1 treat. 2 will deceive, but 1 always speaks the truth. Until next time, keep questioning, keep wondering, and always stay curious.